Hello there, I'm Zain Assad from Assad Z-Man Films. Recently, I've been looking through all my files, papers, things that I write, and I've realized there's just a whole bunch of random failed projects that I've worked on that never happened. And I wonder why I have all these papers. I just was like, holy crap, I just have a whole bunch of random crap. And I just wanted to look through it, so I'm just gonna read you a random skit. These are all just random scripts that I wrote. I have no idea when I wrote them. Sometimes they're dated, this is April 7, 2015, so this is actually 2 years ago that I wrote this. But they're all little random skits, so I'll show you. This is involving a woman. This paper is ripped. This sucks. You see a man walking, or actually driving down a road, and music is playing and he is smoking a cigar. As this man is driving, he suddenly stops and gets out of his car and opens the trunk and says, "Get the F up out of there." And you see a woman with a bag over her head and she is crying and whimpering. I wrote this February 5th, 2015. It was 2 years ago. He puts her on a chair and has a spotlight hitting her face. He takes off the bag over her head and it reveals her bruised up face. Then he says, "You were a pretty one," and she is crying and he shoots her and falls back out of the chair. And she falls back out of the chair and it fades to black. So it's basically a murderer killing a girl. Okay, anyways, here's a different one. This is also involving a girl. This is August 4th, 2014. A girl is doing the dishes, then a man walks into the scene and goes into the fridge and grabs a beer. He's wearing shorts and a tank top. He notices the girl doing the dishes and he says, "Finally, you did that? Shit, it was piling up." Dang, dude, I either had some problems in the past or I don't know. Here's another one. This is a fade in. Random, look how short this is. I don't even know. This one's not even dated. Fade in, a close up of a moving wheel, and music begins to play and you see a girl with her backpack on a bike and she is riding it and you see her stop and look at her bike. And she's at school. I don't know what that means. This one's called Project A. Project A. I don't know when I wrote this one, but I wrote this one probably a while back ago. In the beginning, you see a man walking down a sidewalk, and he turns and goes to a back parking lot that's empty, but there is a car there. Then a man gets out of the car, and he is wearing a suit, and he opens the back of the trunk, and he says to the man, "This is from Marcus." The man smiles. Then you see the man at home and he has piles of cocaine and his wife comes in and she says, "Please, can you not put it on the table? We eat there." So this is basically a story about drug dealers. Next thing. This is a rough draft. April 7th, 2015. Silent film, black and white. That's what it says. In the beginning, you see a black screen. You hear music begin to play, preferably Tchaikovsky classical, and it cuts to a lovely young girl in a dress picking flowers in a garden in black and white, and she is waltzing, smiling, and running in the beautiful flowers. And you see two men on horses ride in and go up to the girl and demand going with her, but she doesn't know who they are, and they end up grabbing her and tying her up and screaming. She says in a questionable voice, screaming. Then it cuts to a man waking up in a totally different location and he recognizes the voice and he says in a questionable voice, "Victoria?" Who's Victoria? This is all black and white though, and it's all supposed to be a silent film. Next page. Okay, here's another random script, a little short script. It's like half a page. In the beginning, you see a young girl getting out of her car. Then she walks into the driveway. And she goes into her house and puts her keys down and goes into a room and says, while she's walking through the hallway and entering the room, "Honey, I'm home from work." Then while she walks into the room, she stops and has a question face. Then she looks kind of scared and upset and she walks towards the computer. I have no idea when I wrote that, but that was probably a couple years ago. Dang, my writing sucks. A normal girl living in this day and age, but then something tragic happens to her and her family is affected by it. She also tries to go for a guy but never gets the chance to go for it. She ends up killing herself at the end because she is scared by what has happened to her. You see her go through a depression through the movie. At first she is happy and lovely, but after the incident she is horrible and sadly depressed. She hangs herself at the end because she feels as if no one understands her. Her mom is an alcoholic and her dad left the story. The story is told by her brother, who tries the best to be a good understanding brother for her, but he didn't know how much the tragedy of his sister put her through. He tries to cope and have empathy and sympathy for her, but it wasn't enough. She tries to talk to her mom about it. Anyways, next. Film script called Body Switch. I don't know when I wrote this, but it's pretty good. It's like on a pretty nice piece of paper, so it must have been something. These are all failed projects that I probably never even failed or probably got concepts off of. Ended up doing something else. 'Cause I don't remember filming any of these. In the beginning, you see a black screen, then it fades out as music begins to play. David Bowie, Golden Years. The music's gonna playing David Bowie, Golden Years, and you see a young woman, and she begins to get ready and dressed, and then it switches cameras, and you see a man that is dressed properly and has a folder in his hand and is walking down a sidewalk, and he's looking through the papers, and suddenly he trips and falls on the ground, and a homeless man begins to laugh at him because he is the one that tripped him. Then the guy gets up and brushes off and looks at the man in filth and pulls out a few pennies and gives it to him. So that was pretty much like basically most of the files in the folder for that one. But then it also has like notes. I don't know why I have notes. 60s to 70s feel, setup, dress, pale, style, colors, tone of the video. March 25th, 2013. Sunny day video. What the I don't even remember these. I don't remember these at all. That was the file involving a girl, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a mess. It's just a pile of random papers. But yeah. We looked through it together.